Instagram's caught up.
Yeah, right.
What?
It's like this internet's like real good.
Fancy. Okay, so what
We're
are we?
live.
28 minutes for 28 days.
We're actually in the same. We're in the RV together. Yeah. Um. Hi. How's it going?
But we need different screens tonight. Hi, Alice. We are only running off one mic, so if you're getting any feedback, please let us know so that we can fix that.
I should have my mic and sound on my computer muted. So, um, yeah, you
There, I'll
can see
make sure
the
that I can
wall of
mute your
yarn
mic. There we go.
behind me. And let's see here. Okay, so one of the reasons that I wanted to do two computer screens is, it's easier to monitor comments and everything.
Oh, it is,
Um,
really.
the other reason is I'm gonna craft as well tonight, and I'm going to edit a photo,
Uh-huh.
and kind of show you the behind the scenes process of how I take one of my astrophotography photos and turn it into what it is.
So one of the reasons we're doing that today is that we drove like 500 miles today, and
All
that is what
I-10,
we did.
all on
That's like
I-10.
all we did. So,
Oh no, for 40 miles we
no,
were on I-12.
it was like 75.
75 miles.
75 miles we went on I-12, and then for a whole like mile and a half we went on 55,
Yeah,
and we went and had Cracker Barrel for
yes,
lunch, breakfast.
we
So,
did.
I did get to do some knitting today because Dean drove for a little while, which was very nice of him. We drove about the same amount today, so
It was a long day, for sure.
it was very long. We are definitely to the end of our long days, so I'm hoping that with the next few like week or so, we're only going to be doing some short stuff, so that's going to be nice.
Tomorrow is about 5 hours.
So,
So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
those sleeves, look at them. They're actually like looking like sleeves now. They fit really nicely. Try one on for you. So, ta-da! I think it looks pretty good.
I think it's looking really
I'm pretty
good.
happy with it.
Yeah, you got some sleeves going
I
on.
got some sleeve length done today too. I did like this much today on the road. So while Dean was driving, and that was nice. Um, and I'm really tired now, so I'm taking a break. Here is my the state of my yarn ball currently. It's that burning both ends of the candle thing is real, and we're making making quick progress of this
The
skein
yarn
of
is
yarn.
going
So
away quickly.
very quickly. So all right,
All right, so let's
you're up,
see.
Dean.
There's like no one. There's one person now on Instagram. Man, where is everybody tonight? What's today? Monday. It's Monday.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's post Super Bowl
post
Monday.
Super Bowl Monday. Yeah,
See, I feel like tonight's a great night to craft, and you just
yeah.
need to take a break from everything.
But people will be watching it later.
I'm
So,
sure. So why don't you
all right.
watch Dean do all this cool like science stuff,
Well,
and you can minimize me.
and there'll be no.
Here,
Well, I mean, definitely, there's going to be a lot of times in this where I'm like taking a break. So you can do like the screen management part of it.
you
Um,
ready?
I'll. I'm just gonna like present my screen the whole time,
There you go.
and then you can.
You should be able to make that. We are actually in the same view, JJ. Are you ready? Are you ready for Inception here? we're just we're just hanging out adjacent to each other. There
Yes.
we go. Okay.
And let's see. All right, there's Pix Insight. Oh, perfect. Okay.
Yeah, I changed the view up a little bit.
So, what happens when I take astrophotography pictures is I take like however many minutes. So the usually for nebulas, I'll do 5 minute exposures, and I'll let it take pictures as long as I can get all night if it's there, if it's in the sky to be able to be seen. So this is one that I did, and it was actually on the calendar for 2024. Um, and it is the Trifid Nebula. It's one of the best that I have had in the past. One of the best sets of data, anyway. And so what I do is I get this is the way it comes out of the stack. So I take all those 5 minute exposures and I put it into this program called PixInsight, and it stacks all the best parts together and takes out some of the worst parts until I get this. It doesn't look very exciting, I know. It is just it looks just like stars, like the background of stars. The first thing that I do is to hit this little button up here, and it will show me, and I actually have it over here, but I hit this little button, and it this is what the computer kind of thinks it can do with it. Um, it tries to stretch the data and pull out the good stuff that I want to see, and that's what it comes up with. Which it obviously looks super green, because it's the computer doesn't know exactly what I want it to do. So that's the step one, is to kind of see what we're working with. The good thing about this is you can see a ton of stars in this, which means it was picking up, it was really clear, was picking up a lot of light. So that's a good sign. So the first thing I'll do, and then we'll have a little bit of a wait time, is this. This is a program that I picked up from a different place, RC Astro. This is Blur Exterminator, and it is a just. I drop this little menu over it, and it does it. And what it's gonna do for the next minute or two is to shrink the stars a little bit, sharpen up the whole picture, and take out some of the blur. So we can talk about something else for
Magic.
another minute or two while it works.
JJ says, it's like when we live our life
Yes.
normally adjacent with devices and fiber and
Yes.
drinks and babies and yes.
Yep. It's just
Yeah,
like that.
we sit like this pretty often. The other day, I got a new back pillow. I'm very excited about it, so I can actually sit up here in bed without killing my back. So that's nice,
It worked out
and
well.
happy with it. Um,
$20 well spent.
Not even. It was like 18 or something.
Yeah.
I used to have one when I was a kid. You guys ever have like a favorite pillow when you were a kid and like you remember it like vividly? We had a pillow like this chair pillow, and it was blue and it was like a velveteen fabric. Stupid ladybugs. And I really, really loved that pillow. Like it was always in like all of our pictures. It was in a bunch of my baby pictures too. I don't know if you ever saw it.
I didn't. I This is the first I've been with you for 18 years almost, and yeah, I've never heard of that pillow until now.
Speaking of 18 years, okay, JJ says, I've listened to a podcast about how people are what color the images we see from satellites.
I don't know. Not sure.
What are the images we see from satellites?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm confused, JJ. Please elaborate. Um, we're here to listen and learn. So bring it on. Um, so Dean's like he has these filters on his camera for his telescope, and they see really cool things. You
Yeah.
want to talk about that a little
So
bit?
so it will actually block out all the light that's not coming from hydrogen and oxygen being vaporized. And so that's what, for something like this, that's what I'll do. So you can see, you may or may not be able to see. I'll actually make this a little bit bigger here.
That would be great.
I don't know if anybody's going to be able to really appreciate it, but so I can undo what I just did, and as it undoes, you can kind of see. Eh, not a lot. You will,
That data you took that night was really, really
well, right,
good.
but it comes out better later.
Yes. Okay.
So it's actually gonna run again with a little bit more uh input from me.
Yes.
I want to actually sharpen more of this good stuff rather than just the stars. So I'm really making sure that we can pull out this nebula. And I like stars. You want stars in it, but you don't want them to be like the most prominent thing.
True. Very, very true.
Let's
So,
see.
that whole like popular saying, shoot for the moon, even if you miss, you'll land among the stars. He really likes the stars.
Yeah.
But when he's shooting for the moon or shooting for this nebula, the stars are out there and he'll put them back in later.
Yes.
Okay.
The stars are secondary. Now, you will see a lot of people who do these astrophotography things, and they actually just like take the stars out and leave them as starless images. Um, I don't like that. I like for there to be stars in them. I think it looks better. I think it's just my. It's always just a personal preference. That's kind of like the art part of it, but um, I like to put the stars back in. But they definitely don't. You don't want the like the Andromeda picture I did the other day, it went out in their email today. If you like put the stars in there like they would really be, if you think about Andromeda is super faint, and these nebulas are super faint, and so if you took in enough light for the nebulas to be super super bright, the stars would just like fill the whole screen and be super bright. You wouldn't see anything. So you have to kind of like remove the stars, make the nebula super bright, and then put back the stars, but at like just a little bit of what they had in there. So
I think it gives it an element of realism, if
yeah,
that's what you're.
yeah, it
Because
just
stars are there. They're definitely there, even when we can't see them. They're
yeah,
definitely there, and I think that that's a piece that is important to the almost like adding that imperfection in, like
yeah,
super asymmetry, whatever,
yeah,
that kind of thing. It's very you are balancing out what you're seeing, and it makes more sense in your head and in your eye
right.
that that's happening.
Okay, so we have Blur exterminated twice. The next thing we're gonna do is remove all this green. So there are catalogs of all of these stars, and everybody has enough people have looked at these stars individually and in small groups to say, I agree that this is the color that this star is, based on the wavelength of light that we see and some super special measuring techniques. And so I can actually use this color calibration to say, all right, I was looking at the Trifid Nebula on this day, so it knows each of these stars by name that have a name to take away all that green and make it the color that it's supposed to be. And so that's where oh well, actually, it's not gonna do that first because I have to actually make it have a solution. In order for it to do that, it has to know where all those stars are. So first thing we have to do is give it a solution. So that's what we'll do first.
So tonight I am actually casting on a tiny sock. On Wednesday, I am teaching toe up two at a time socks. But we're going to be doing them on like toddler size socks. Hey, Jess. Tonight Dean is taking over and doing all kinds of cool science stuff. But I'm talking about socks at the moment. Anyway, so I am making the toes of a tiny pair of socks, just one sock, so I can use it for my sample. But I want to get my counts right, and because I don't typically make toddler socks, um, this class is designed for like 6 weeks and not for 5 hours. So
Yeah,
it's kind of like taking all this knowledge and like condensing
at
it
least
into a
two
very,
sessions.
yeah,
Yeah,
into a very tight time frame. So I want to make sure that we actually can get through everything. And if I'm not, then I need to be able to explain exactly what's going to happen later on for them. So that is what I am doing. It's terribly fun. I know you guys are super fascinated watching me tiny needles that I am like working with here. I'm
you're on
using
tiny needles, and I'm on like weird pop-up windows
I'm
of
using US 1.5s, which are my favorite sock needle size, and I'm using a mini cable from Chiaogu because I think I might have borrowed these from the truck, but they're mine, so yeah, it's fine. And then I'm using black yarn because why wouldn't I use black yarn? It was actually the only thing that was in my knitting bag that was in finger. That's what
So
I'm doing.
we're ready for some
All right.
magic to happen over here. So I told it what kind of camera I use and what I want the reference points to be, and now it has a solution. So knows exactly what all these stars are. So we're going to get a nice, better colorized image.
I enjoy watching the little like calculation screen go because it thinks and it thinks and it thinks, and you can like see it thinking.
And honestly, it takes this one longer because there are so many stars in it. It has to like, it's crunching a lot of numbers.
Yeah. But anyway, ooh,
It's getting there.
okay.
All right. So now I have to hit this button again because
Check it
we
out.
haven't actually done anything to it. This is what the computer is still thinking it can do to it. Because we have kind of calibrated the color, now the computer thinks, oh, this is the best I can do. Okay. Um, so what we will do now is take the stars out. And that will also take a minute because there are so many of them.
That's right. I think we're losing people tonight. This is a lot. But this is fun. I mean, I get to see this all the time, but I feel like you guys don't ever get to see it. So it's pretty neat. A lot of stars going on here.
And let's see. Oh, what did I say? Black yarn at night, you live dangerously.
I don't even have my Lumos hanging on my neck
All
tonight.
right.
I
Yeah.
should, but this was the yarn that I used for the toes and heels on my Advent socks this year. Um, so I really like it. It's a nice targy from Woolens and Nosh. And if you have met me, you know that I love me some targy and nylon for sock yarn. So nice durable socks. For toddlers, I think they would hold up pretty well.
Yeah, for sure.
So I will probably end up I will change yarns after I finish the toe. And that way I can make them into actual socks for Ella, I guess.
Sure.
Sure.
Might as well, right?
I guess. Yeah, sure. I'm not making for Avery. Avery's got her parents' feet.
Well, and yeah, she's definitely. I mean, Ella, you can make some socks and she'll wear them for a little while. Avery's like, my feet are gonna grow 12 sizes this year.
Literally.
Yeah.
So Avery is our friend Tabitha and Colby's kiddo, and she has her parents both have larger than average feet.
All right. The stars have been removed. So
Magic.
stars, we're gonna put them over here in a corner for a minute. So now we have this to work with.
Ooh.
And I'll actually zoom in one more so you can kind of see. This is what we're sort of focused on here. And we are ready to actually stretch this. Again, this is just a preview. So if I turn off what the computer thinks it can do to it, you can't see anything, okay? This is just a practice. So we're actually going to do a stretch on this and pull out the light that we want to see. So statistical stretch. That looks good.
Stretch.
And we're going to preview. And then we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of a boost on it with the curves. And we're going to go ahead and execute it. And it's done. Okay, so this is actually done now. It's not done, but it actually is stretched. The next thing we're going to do is take some of the noise out. So if I zoom super far in, you can kind of see these little dots here. It's just noise where hot pixels and places where there's not actually supposed to be light hitting, but it thought there was. So we're going to take some of that out. And leave in some of the detail. And I promise we're going to get this looking a little bit better before we get off of here. For you 3 people who are nerdy enough to watch this.
Okay, to recap, Dean is doing 28 minutes for 28 days tonight. He is actually editing in real time a image that is actually featured on his website. This is the Trifid Nebula, and so this is a new edit on an old photograph that he took. When did you take this one?
This one's from June of 23, so
quite a ways back
year and
there.
a half ago.
Did this one have a filter on it?
No.
This one did not have the cool filter we
Yep.
were talking about a minute ago.
So undo, see the little dots, redo, nice and clear. So, all right, now we're gonna make some real magic happen here. So I get a little preview window, and we're gonna make it pull out some of the good data and make the
Ooh.
dark part dark and the light part light that we want. So I use this preview window to help me pull down on this dark side and up on the light side and bring out lots of cool stuff. And then we actually will use Photoshop. All right. And we're going to transfer over to Photoshop, which you probably can't see.
No, no Photoshop visible.
Yep. So,
You'll be able to share your
yeah,
whole.
I'm stopping that screen and presenting a different screen.
Okay.
Window, Photoshop, share. All right, we're opening up this thing. We saved it as the wrong file type, which never happens to me ever.
It happens all the time, guys.
Never, never.
All the time.
All right, let's try again. Open. And now we're going to make the background go be more backgroundy.
More
right.
backgroundy.
Yes.
All right. That's
And
a great word.
then
Here.
we're going to use the camera raw filter to decrease the highlights just a bit for now, but bring up the exposure of the whole thing so that we get more definition, more contrast. Come on. You can see all this, right?
Yes. Well, yes. Yes, we can.
More texture, more clarity. Come on. And then we're going to sharpen it some more. This data is so good that I can just like sharpen it. Like a lot of these images take a lot more fine tuning than this. So I'm actually going to just save this to start with.
Save an image.
In the right file type.
Yay.
And then we'll go back to PixInsight.
This is what Dean does in the morning after he takes his photos and goes out and gets his data, his brick, and then he'll bring it inside the yarn truck, and he'll be sitting over here in his chair with it all turned around right there. He'll be sitting there, and while I'm still asleep, we'll make all this magic happen.
All right, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to change the saturation on this so that the colors look much better. Okay. So bring up this. I just brought the saturation up on the whole thing.
Wow.
You can actually do this for each individual color and it will be even better. But I'm just kind of doing a rough cut right now to get this done in 28 minutes. All right. We'll do a little bit more on the exposure.
He didn't know anything about any of this camera stuff before he started doing the astrophotography. So,
and then we're going to do a little, we're going to zoom in here. Make it bigger. Oh, stop that. Zoom in. And we're going to do a little bit of sharpening. this sharpening tool. It just makes it clearer. So all these little filaments of dust that you see just become a little bit clearer. And that was actually a little bit too much. So sometimes you go too far.
Oops. Not that we've ever done that before either.
Yep,
Ever.
yep.
We've never gone too far with something. 28 minutes for 20 days. Never would we do that.
And
Yeah.
then this is just contrast basically, is the last step I'll do here, and then we'll add the stars back in. So we take our stars, and this is, if you'll remember, I took these out before we stretched everything. So these actually have to be stretched separately. So I'll do star stretch. And we're actually going to turn this down.
JJ says that too far is why you save steps in between.
That is correct.
Save in between, yeah, all the steps.
That
yes.
is correct.
Yeah, that is definitely a thing that happens.
All right. And we're going to stretch those stars. And we're actually going to turn the, what happened to my star picture?
Did it go to the other workspace?
I'm not sure.
It's just there. Oh, is it up there at the top?
What? There, it went behind.
Oh, okay.
That was weird. All right. Curves. Saturation. So we can actually do the same thing for the stars that we did for the nebula and make the stars be the color that they're supposed to be. And then we can combine these two pictures. We have our stars, and then we have our nebula. And we can actually make the nebula pop out even more for this. And if we wanted, we could take the stars down a little bit more. And combine. And there's roughly what we have.
You make it bigger, Dean?
I am making it bigger right now. I can make it bigger. I can only do so fast.
Ooh.
So there's a lot of fine tuning that happens with these. I will actually open the one that I did before.
This might look better than that one.
No, I don't think so, but
all
right. Let's see. I think this one is the good one. So you can see that obviously I rotated the image. So edit image. That's okay. I don't need to rotate it. But you can see the difference. I don't know. That one is pretty good with the detail.
I think you've gotten better at editing.
Yeah, I actually like this. I want to change some things with it, but I like this a little better than the old.
That looks really cool. The shadows are really great. All right.
So this is dust out here not being vaporized. This is more oxygen being vaporized, and this is more hydrogen being vaporized, the red. So there you go. A peek behind the curtain of Stellar Spectrum's photo editing.
That was really cool, Dean.
Thank you, Stacking It Rebel, for sticking with us.
Yay! All right. Well, it is time for us to say goodnight for tonight. And you never know when Dean might give us another really cool example of exact color.
Someday I'll try to film this and like be better about it and not just jump around everywhere.
Thought it wasn't that bad. Anyway, happy 28 minutes for 28 days.
Happy crafting.
We hope you have some great crafting times in front of you. We'll see you soon. Look, there's a tiny toe. There it is. See you guys later.
Happy crafting.
Bye.